Wake.Show, as everybody knows, the show needs an intro. This is that intro. I am Fisher, your host, featuring Chris McCarty. He can sing, I can, so why do I do the opening?
You're the host for the most, brother. The host for the most.
I love it, man. I love it.
The Wake.Show.
Welcome to the Wake.Show. Hold on, let me get those people off. Oh, distracting the top of your head there. There we go. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wake.Show. Let's also welcome in the sponsor for the first 15 minutes, Single Source Insurance. Thank you so much, Single Source, for being a part of the show. For those of you that are sick and tired of being treated like a number with the big guys when it comes to your insurance, give them a try. Give them a call. Check out their website, SingleSourceINS.com. Not only will you get comparable rates, but more importantly, they will take care of you when you actually need them. So,
yes,
Chris, how you doing today, brother?
I'm well. Flo didn't take care of me, so I hang out with Single Source.
What happened? Flo didn't take care of you.
You know, she just made me feel like she was into me. The way she was staring at me in the I was like, yeah, I'm Flo, and now no. All right. So Single Show. Right. I'm doing well, brother. How are you?
Good. Well, let's also welcome in our guest, filmmaker Ryan Justice. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
I ran into damn it. We need to get the graphic done for look what the Chris dragged in. Because Chris and I, Ryan, have a tendency to meet people out and about. You know, when we're drinking. I mean, performing.
Yes, and speaking and connecting.
Right, and being entertainers, and then going, hey man, how about you come in on our new show? So that's what happened with Ryan. I met him at a. What was it? It was some networking event.
Yeah, it was the Tierra Verde networking event down in
Boulevard Burgers.
St. Pete Beach.
Yeah, St. Pete Beach. So I ran into him there and found out that he has made a movie. Now, is this your first movie you made?
Yeah, so this is my, first feature film. So I've done a lot of short films, music videos, stuff like that, but this is the first feature film.
All right, so...
Moving on up.
The movie is called... Hold on. Followers.
Correct.
I don't want to mess it up because there's a couple of those. The Follower, so this is just Followers.
Correct.
All right. It was it's a full-length feature film. Was in movie theaters and is currently available in Walmart. Well, being in the Bay Area over the last 20 years, I know that one of the knocks on the Bay Area and Florida in general has to do with filmmaking. Those who want to make films here in the state of Florida tend to be frustrated. Is that accurate?
Yeah, what the whole thing is that we don't have film incentives, right? For many years, from 2010 to 2014 or so, we had film incentives. That's why Magic Mike filmed here, Spring Breakers with James Franco.
What a piece of garbage that was.
Yeah, so you had a lot of films that were shot around here, even in Miami and stuff like that. You had all the TV shows, Burn Notice, The Glades. Magic City, everything was filming in Florida, and then the incentives dried up. They didn't bring it back. That's why we lost a lot of movies to Georgia recently, including Ben Affleck's movie Live by Night that actually takes place in Ybor City. They ended up building Ybor City in Savannah.
Oh, that's such crap.
Yeah. So even think about, I don't know if you saw the movie Dirty Grandpa also.
No.
With Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
It takes place in Daytona Beach. Filmed in Georgia.
So would we have gotten Walking Dead if we had our act together back then?
Probably, I don't know.
Probably not.
That would be interesting, but I think So that's the thing. But in the end of the day, what you have to do is kind of take. If you want to make movies, you want to take your control of your own career and like your path. You got to just do it. And really, incentives only really matter to people with thousands and thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. So what we did was we wanted to make a movie and wanted to get our career started. So we put our own money together and made our own movie.
Because those are going to be my questions as somebody who's spoken to many filmmakers around the Bay Area. A lot of films don't get made here. It's hard to get noticed out of here. So yours ended up in theaters. Walk us through that process. How does that even happen?
Well, so, once again, everything's about who you know, networking, everything like that. Back in 2010, I went to Sunscreen Film Festival. That's St. Pete's big film festival. Met a sales agent, Marty Poole of Fairway Film Alliance. I was like 22 years old. Met him, talked with him.
How old are you now?
I am now 30 years old.
Okay, old man.
So
whatever.
So I took him out for a beer, talked with him, stayed in contact with him over the years, and so now that we but it'll be about 3 years since we came up with the concept and everything, put the movie Followers into motion. We finished filming it 2 years ago. So when we were done editing the movie and the American film market was coming up in November 2016, it was about a month ahead before the market was taking place. I contacted Marty Poole, the guy I had met years earlier. I was like, Marty, I got a feature film. Would you take it to market and represent it? He's like, I don't know. Like, what do you got? I'm like, I got a trailer. I got the key art. We're still editing the movie. Would you take a chance? And because of the rapport I built over almost 8 years, he decided to take the movie on the American film market with just a trailer. Right here, you're actually showing.
Yep.
So this was edited by one of the main editors over at Home Shopping Network. He's a good friend of mine. He put together the trailer for us. We made the key art. Other co-producer Ian Longen did the key art. We took it to AFM. We didn't even have the movie completely edited yet. The sales agent took it to market, sold it the first week of the market to U.S., China, Thailand, and UK. The U.S. distributor is an awesome distributor, Synchronized Films. They're actually based out of Miami. What do you think, man? What do you think? And they really love the film. And from day one of buying the film, they want to do a theatrical release, and they kept their promise. And we had a theatrical release March 23rd. It was for 7 days, 10 different cities: L.A., Tampa, Miami, Dallas, all over. So that was a very cool experience. But it all kind of boiled down.
Chris.
It all kind of boiled down to networking and just doing it, right? Because that's the thing. A lot of people want to do short films, do this stuff. Where we share.
I like it, brother. I'm sorry. I was trying to hear what you said, but I was like, oh no.
All right.
you got a gift, my friend.
So we can see the subject matter has something to do with social media. What's the premise of the movie?
So Followers is about a social media fitness couple. We all know them. Some of us follow them right now. They post everything that they do. They decide to go on a camping trip to celebrate their 1 year anniversary. They're filming everything they're doing while they're on their way out there. What they don't realize, they're being tracked by 2 other guys doing a documentary on how easy it is to track somebody down off social media and kill them.
All right, so the filmmakers, the people doing the documentary, they're murderers.
They're documentary filmmakers trying to tell a story, right?
Okay.
So they're trying to be. Their goal is to be kind of social media famous too by posting this great, groundbreaking documentary. So they all kind of have reasons why they're filming, right?
Okay.
Why they're different motives, and it's all kind of based around social media validation.
All right, well, cool. Well, I'm glad you're here today, man. We're going to talk some movies. I know I've gotten behind on some things. I think Chris is caught up on Deadpool 2.
Yes.
Right. Did you see Infinity War Avengers?
Yes.
Okay. And
seen it all, homie.
And Solo. Have you seen Solo yet?
You know what? I'm supposed to see that. I was talking about seeing that today, but I'm supposed to play at the Hard Rock tonight, so it'll most likely be tomorrow.
All right. So
have you seen it?
Oh yeah.
So all right, can I just jump in real quickly?
You're not going to spoil anything, are you?
All
right.
No,
we need to ring the bell real quick. The spoiler bell.
No.
The spoiler bell.
I just want to know. You always hear some people who are critics. Is it good?
I think it's a very fun movie.
All right, good.
I was excited.
Stop right there. That's all I want to know.
It's why I got into movies with Star Wars.
Perfect.
I was 7, 8 years old, and Star Wars was a huge impact on me. I was 7, 8 years old. So this is obviously 1996, 1997. They were just bringing out the special editions. They re-released the special edition 1997, and I actually got to go to the theaters to watch the Star Wars in theaters 1997, and it just was like a big deal to me. Star Wars. It's definitely one of the biggest reasons why I love the idea of creating movies and film for people to watch, because I'll be honest. So like when those Star Wars movies were coming out in 1997, so I was going through my parents' divorce. And so it was like my thing. I watched Star Wars every single day. I wrote my own Star Wars stories. It was like my escape. And I always thought it would be amazing. Like I always thought about, man, could you imagine? It's Sunday night or Sunday. This family has nothing else to do, but they can go to a movie theater. They can turn off everything that they're doing for 2 hours, and you're the reason. You're their escapism.
Yep.
It's a pretty cool thing. And that's why Star Wars always had a big impact on me.
All right, but with Solo, I was a little concerned, or I am a little concerned that they're just going to ruin Han Solo for me. But you're saying
no. I went in there expectations pretty low just because. But Ron Howard is an amazing director. Yes. He came in and pretty much he definitely saved the day. As much as I like the guys who originally were directing the film who got fired because I'm a big How I Met Your Mother fan, and they were the creators of that. Ron Howard, he's got a great track record, and he went in there and he knows how to tell a good story and a fun movie. And he went in there and it's a fun movie. It's charming. There was a lot of hate on The Last Jedi because they try to be too funny and the jokes just did not hit.
Right. Well, that's also some of that I think is acting. See, because the reason why I was asking about this movie, so everyone knows one of my dad figures, James. He and I we are avid Star Wars goer. I had a gig that we canceled on a Friday. It was like, I had a big, I'm like, dude, we're going to go watch The Last Jedi. I drove down there. We watched the opening. Like, that's kind of our thing. And he was telling me last week, he's like, man, the reviews aren't good. And I was like, don't tell me that, so here, but it's always different because like my brother, Phil, he's a director. And so I find that directors and people who are like really, they give their life to movies and know every director's name, actors' names. They have a different vantage point on movies and more critique wise. So to hear you as one of those people who I clearly respect say it's good, it should be good. So I'm excited, man. Thanks.
If you want to have fun, it's a good movie.
Good.
That's the thing. People, I think a lot of times right now, I see all these reviews and I see all these people like, oh, it's garbage or this is stupid. Right. I'm like, you're not trying to have fun.
Fun, yeah, dude.
Like go to the movies. A lot of people, I think,
everyone's a critic.
God, you see the reviews, or like IndieWire and all these Hollywood Reporter, everything. It's constant negative. Oh my God, they only made $100 million this weekend, the lowest box office total. Okay. And then they start to, what happens? They start to do this negative news feed where people are, oh my God, it's the worst Star Wars movie ever, and really it isn't. They're just, it isn't.
It's not.
It's like a really fun movie. Donald Glover kills it as Lando Calrissian. That's a big cape to fill.
Yeah,
and he does it.
I love that coming from Billy
D. And he did a great job. And
you're not gonna like his. I don't think you're gonna like his character, Chris.
What do you mean?
Because Lando's character takes a little twist.
So you've seen it.
No, but one of the big things that's coming out of the movie is that.
But that don't ruin it.
No,
would that ruin it?
Don't ruin it.
Are you talking about?
Just let me see it.
Are you talking about his?
How do you want to phrase
orientation?
It? Yes.
That's honestly huge.
Blown out of proportion?
Way blown out of proportion.
Oh, okay.
Believe me, I had buddies calling me. What? Like I thought there was an emergency. My buddy called me a week earlier.
It is an emergency.
Yeah, my buddy Tony. He's like, you got 5 minutes to talk. I'm like, yeah, man, what's going on? Dude, they're saying they made Lando a pansexual, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He's a and I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, it's all over the newspaper thing, and I honestly though, that was way blown out of proportion because at the end of the day, I was like, no, it was not, and I was. Yeah, so I think it was way blown out of proportion.
Tearing my Solo apart.
It was. I think it's a bad rumor.
Okay.
If anything, it's deep in Donald Glover's like.
Okay, so it's not overt at all.
No. It's not. It's you don't see it now. Like he's based on like a 70s. I think like Lando's kind of based on a 70s like pimp, right? So I think he's more like a like William Shatner, right? James T. Kirk. Like he was
that guy messing with the green girls, the purple girls.
And that's pretty much what Lando's character is. Now to call that
I would have thought
pansexual, I don't know, but it would have been.
Well, it would have been very interesting because we make assumptions, of what we know of Lando as being a ladies' man. But once I first read that, I went, I guess you could see that he would be like that too. Anybody he felt attractive, not just to females, aliens, anybody.
Yeah, and it's not like that. It really isn't
like
that.
that
It isn't that serious.
Okay.
They don't. I think it was got blown way out of proportion.
That's what we do. But I think at the end of the day, everyone's a critic, man. And it's just, I wish, and Jen, another conversation I had with James, I'm really big into music. And it's sad to me that people these are gifts, these are ideas, this is art. And it almost shows the type of person you are. Like if you're a negative person, you're looking to scrutinize everything and that could be better. And instead of, maybe music was just made for the simple joy, for just pleasure of it. So I feel like I wish we could all go into these things, movies and music, anything, just for the pleasure. Because you hear people talk about you hear people say something negative rather than the positive. Like how often do you hear someone walk around saying, "Man, that was awesome," and you hear people say, "Oh man, that sucked." Like, I'm telling you, dude.
When it comes to regular folks, people that are watching things, yeah, we can just walk into something and appreciate it. But we are talking about critics. But that's the people that write blogs.
Critic right now.
And so that it's part of what they have to look for, the little things that are wrong, or it didn't match up this way, or it could have been better that way.
I just wish that everyone would get off the critiquing and for a minute and just
enjoy
have fun, man.
Enjoy it, and that's what Solo is. Ron Howard did a kick.
You can say ass.
Kick-ass job. Just like taking the reins of that film and really turning it into a Star Wars film.
Good.
All right. Well, let's
see Deadpool too.
We're going to hit on
those twice, actually.
Awesome.
We're going to hit on those next, but I do want to say good morning to Chris Brown, Kurt Schreiner, Robert Reap, Nikki Cooper. She says, "Hi guys." She says, "Thank you so much for the kind words yesterday about Mr. Winter. I really appreciated it. 14 years is a long time. Family. Yep. Yep.
Yep. Do you have any cats or dogs?"
No.
Okay.
I live out of the beach. You can't really have any pets over there. A lot of those places. I live in like a condo HOA.
Oh, gotcha.
So they're really strict on that stuff.
Our guest today is filmmaker Ryan Justice, right out of the Bay. You born and reared in this area?
Born and raised. Born at MacDill Air Force Base. Grew up in Brandon. I went to USF. I've lived in every little part: Bradenton, Sarasota, St. Pete, Tampa, everywhere. So.
Nice. So a local boy does good. So let's go back to your film real quickly. I wanted to ask something about your film before we get back to Deadpool 2 and the other ones that I haven't seen yet. And that is the business of filmmaking. For those of us that ever thought, "Oh, I have a script in me," or "I got this," right. We would definitely be naive when it comes to the actual process of getting a film done. Now, 2 years ago, you sold your film for distribution. Does that mean you don't have any? Your film is no longer yours?
So
how does that work?
Okay, so once you made the movie, right? You want to, like a lot of people, like Tampa's because it's a small market. A lot of people were like, "Oh, we'll take your movie to the film festival." Now, you go to a film festival to get your movie noticed by sales agents, distributors, to be purchased and then, distributed in theaters and or DVD or VOD. VOD is like Amazon, iTunes, all that kind of stuff, on demand.
Okay.
So we knew going in, when we started making that movie, we knew we wanted to take it straight to market. We weren't trying to go film festivals and stuff like that. We knew what we were trying to do. We were trying to get to market. And
Why were you so? How were you so confident that you could skip? It seems like part of the process is you have to enter all these festivals, start getting people to talk about. Okay.
So we were like, you know what? We know we had a great little concept on paper. Everybody that we told, it was a great little concept. We knew it had a hook. It was a found footage film with a hook, and we knew going in that we weren't going to waste a bunch of time on film festivals and stuff like that. So we went straight to the sales agent, went to the distributor. So when you do sell a movie to a distributor, they either, there's usually a minimum guarantee that they're given, they give you, and then after that, you do get back end. Now they're pretty much licensing the film from you.
So they basically now can do what they want with the film. They can market it how they want. You don't have any say. However, if they do get this thing, if there's some money starts coming in, you get a percentage of that.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, like in example of they'll do what they want. So in the UK, the movie released in July.
Nice.
Almost a year ago, 6-7 months before the other one. And they changed the name from Followers to Followed. And they changed all the artwork, made it look very generic, took the whole social media aspect out of the artwork. Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
Killed me a little bit.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
But, it was kind of cool. So it was like, that's when we first started getting in, Amazon reviews and people leaving comments. It was kind of cool.
Now, is that a cultural thing? Is that one of those things where, well, here in Britain, you can't really play off of this. It'd be better for you to play off of that. Or is it one of those things, is there an ego involved when somebody gets a hold of somebody's personal, film like that? They have to make a change. I
think you want to hope that the people that are buying your film and giving you money for your film, that they have their best foot forward, and they're the experts, right? So they change the artwork for their territory. They actually have a huge DVD market still in the UK. Right. A lot of stores, I guess. A lot of so that's their big thing. So they changed you can actually see the artwork if you click that one, you'll see click over to a couple of different photos and you'll see the UK artwork. Yeah, it's a little generic. Oh, there's me.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm trying to get this.
Almost there.
Hey, trying to shrink it back.
That's our US artwork.
There you go.
Keep going. That's our original stuff that we were doing. Keep going.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, these are the one. The next one is which one. This is what we sold our movie on. This concept. This was designed by Ian Lodge, our co-producer, co-writer. He's my partner in crime. Not ours. Not ours. Almost.
Come on, Chris.
There it is. That's our UK poster. They designed that. A little generic.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not any of our actors in the film.
But I won't lie to you. All right.
If you're going through Redbox or something or DVD that stands out.
I guess what I'm saying is I understand it. I understand which is why you said generic.
Yeah.
Because that's might be the reason. Like, just some random person be like.
That's why honestly, my favorite artwork is our artwork, the red one that you just saw with the phone. The one with this is the US one that they created. I'm obviously a big fan of our one that we created because this one right here. We created that one from the ground up. A lot of work back and forth. And it just says a lot in an image with this phone. It's social media. It says a lot. So, yeah, in the end of the day, these are little
I like
things
the tagline at the bottom, beware what you share. Yeah.
That,
And our sales agent, Marty, and we beat that tagline around for a few days, figuring out what we could put on the poster. And I mean, that poster in the trailer is what got our movie sold.
Right.
Yeah, because now if you think about it, now you go back to the one that they did in England. Yeah, there's no social media aspect.
Right, and they honestly even on the back
following me.
They tried to make it more of a slasher thing. And
do you see what the tagline is on this one?
Yeah, it's really
the
generic.
tagline is "What's done cannot be undone."
That is blah.
It has nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I like this better.
And so that was done with that, and then but my U.S. distributor, Synchronized Films, and the owner Alex Cohen, we were on the phone a lot right up until the release. I was involved a lot, and I owe that to him because not many distributors. There's a lot of bad business going on in the movie industry with sales agents, distributors, and stuff like that. And I was super lucky. My first feature film, I had a great sales agent, great distributor that believed in the film, and I'm hoping it's a long career path with in partnership with these guys because that's what it felt like. It was a partnership.
Adam online says the generic artwork looks like a cover of a Goosebumps book. It kind of does. It kind of does.
Funny, yeah.
But you know what? But there's something to be said by that because again, the familiarity and music. Right. In music, you write these songs you hear. It's like, man, I like it. I don't know why because it's something you've already heard.
Yeah. You don't really because you once again because it's your own artwork. You start to fall in love with your stuff.
Of course.
And it's so hard to disconnect sometimes. So when we had that poster, the U.S. one with the mask.
Yeah.
Up at a movie theater. I mean, I sat outside the movie theater for shamefully for about 30 minutes, watching people just randomly walk by. And there was an older couple that stops right in front of it. You had Jennifer Lawrence and Red Sparrow next to it, and then The Strangers Part 2 or whatever, and then you had Followers next to it, and they just stopped and looked at it like, oh, what's this? They're like, oh, is this? And then we should go see this tomorrow. I'm like, well, it's actually playing tonight at 10:55. Oh, really? Only at 10:55? I'm like, yeah, it's actually my film, the director. Oh, really? And it was just kind of cool
to
see traditional route. And then I had some other stories too of going to the theater.
Yes, and listening and watching people.
Yeah. So I actually got to go to USF where I went to school, and I got to talk in front of. And we gave out pretty much free final points to people's grades to coming and seeing the movie. And I showed up to the Studio Movie Grill in Tampa about 3-4 hours before the screening, and I'm walking in. I see a group of like college kids walking by me, and they all bought a ticket because they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get our free extra credit points. We're not even gonna go see the movie." So I'm hearing them walking by, and this is funny though. They're like, I can hear them walking next to me. They're like, "Oh, they're like, you're not gonna go see it?" It's like, "No, it's late, man." And then I'm like, "Hey, you guys should go see it. It's an awesome movie." They're like, "Really?" I'm like, "How you doing? I'm Ryan Just. I'm the director." And all their friends like freak. They're like, "Ah!"
See, yeah, and I have stories like that, which is cool about that. I have stories like that.
And they all took a picture with me and everything.
Yeah, and
everybody bought a ticket. And they all came. Yeah,
but that's the thing. I think that's where the hands-on aspect of connecting. Because when I went, same kind of story. It was in Atlanta, opening for Chase Rice, and there was a line all the way out to the back. So what I did is in the very beginning, I come out the front, and everyone's waiting to see if they can see Chase. You know how it is, and of course no one knows who I am. And I got my phone, and I'm just walking down, just looking at everybody. Just they're all looking at me like whatever. And then when they get in there, who walks up on the stage? And it's like I see people like, dude, that's that dude. And it's crazy because that familiarity is what made them more interested in what I was about to do.
Connection,
and
they're invested.
So I think you're supposed to do that. It's good, man.
Yeah, it was cool. And then like, so they actually didn't have the poster up at first. The distributor sent all the movie theaters the poster, and I actually made them put the poster up. I had it in my car. So I'm like, can you guys put the poster up outside? And they ended up putting it up out there.
Yeah.
That is a solid one. The American version of this, and I know this isn't your original work, that is a solid one, though.
Yeah, people end up really into it.
Because also the familiarity. I mean, the mask. Like we remember Scream. Scream was pretty good. I mean that mask.
Jason
does the same thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, but with the UK, the difference in music. A lot of times when people hear artists and they're like, "Oh, they went platinum." Well, people in the UK are the ones who are still buying those CDs, not so much in the United States.
Right.
So there could be the aspect of the social media is a little different over there than over, so probably why they may have...
It's something with streaming and everything also over there. I don't know if it's like a Wi-Fi thing. Streaming is just not big. Streaming is just not big as over there.
And they like authenticity. I mean, they like to have something that they go to a show and they still like to read the inside and who directed, who wrote what, who, the lyrics and what, and the lyrical content. So that might be part of the reason why they changed. Might be.
And although it's a small film, we've dealt with piracy, big time. And it's a little frustrating. I mean, yes, it's not. This isn't Expendables. This isn't like Infinity War. But that's the thing. But people equate every single movie to that, right? They think they're stealing from a millionaire.
Yes, they do.
Right.
And it's so fascinating. Oh my god. So like, I have people that have like, I have had people like, "Hey man, just watched your movie on Cody." And I'm just like,
do you know how many times I've heard that? Oh,
I'm like,
dude, I streamed your song. I got your song. I got it from back with Napster. I got it out. I'm like, thanks,
man. And it's funny. I actually heard when I heard this big producer doing this seminar in California, and he was saying how he released the movie at Cannes Film Festival, but like a couple days later, one of his buddies like texts him, "Hey, me and the wife just watched the movie. Good job." And he's like, "How?" "Oh, on Cody. Great movie though." But it's like he was like, and it was like going to a really fancy restaurant, going up to the chef, "Hey, food was really awesome," and then walking out and not paying for the actual food. And it was like, and then there's this like last night, somebody had made a post about, "Hey man, just saw your movie at Walmart, buying it." Made a whole video. People were commenting, "Why don't you just buy it just watch it on Showbox?" And I write because it's hard not to write to that stuff. So I'm like, "Hey man, that's stealing and illegal," and I was like, "Thou shalt not steal." But people don't.
He breaks
You're
out
going to hell.
And it was just one of those things that people don't see it that way. And it's like,
No.
I mean, we're not millionaires from this movie, but you're talking like I think we've equated like there's like 20, 30,000 illegal streams on the film. See, once the movie released in the UK, it's when all the piracy started, and so that's what there's Saudi Arabian subtitles all over it.
I'll tell you, man, for from someone who's dealt with that for a decade, easily. I got to the point where just to not myself get upset, I was like, you know what, dude, I really am making this music for the world, and and once I put it out there, it's no longer mine, and it all comes back. It just does. It's just it makes the world go around. So that just for me to you, like it really helped me to not.
I know that's what everybody. Once again, it's one of those things that everybody's like, "Oh well, like pirate. At least people were watching it."
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, but I mean, I am you. Like, I make these songs. I go to the studio. They come from some spot, and hey, can you please support because I do need it And it's just a generation that won't. And just for me to not be any upset about it and to not feel that burn, because I empathize. I know the burn. It just wants you to go, you know what? It's God's song. It's God's movie. I made it for them. It is what it is. What will be will be, and let it go and let it be, because it'll come back, man. It just does.
I hope you're right, but in the end, that's awesome to say.
I'm telling you, I do this. I have albums. I know.
And the music goes real quick. That thing's gone.
I know. Like, you understand? Like, this, you don't have 99 cents, dude. Really, $1? Like, I hear you. But
it was a weird thing. So as soon as you just start to see it just popping up, like legally, you're just like, wow. Okay.
I've made it.
Yeah.
They're robbing me. That's great. I hear you, but I'm telling you, man,
Chris,
you got one or the other. Either you're going to be
right.
upset
And once again, if more people are seeing it, I once again, because we weren't trying to become millionaires on this movie, right?
Right.
Is getting our name out there and getting and it is. They do say like torrents is how you get a lot of notoriety these days.
Dude,
it's where people are living.
Yeah, what's your intention? If I wanted to make it, like a perfect example, I've been doing it, making songs, and then finally I just wrote a unbelievable song with Chase and this guy John Knight, who wrote "Save a Horse Ride a Cowboy." Mm-hmm. That is going to generate more money into my pocket, my bank account. Like, that's it. All comes back. Like, you on this, we don't know where this is going to go. You don't know what you can end up getting a job.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That is one thought.
You just gotta your intentions, man. Like.
One of the thoughts moving forward is that you're using, so your move for you would be your movies, for Chris his music, and those are going to build your community. You're not going to be able to make the millions that you were able to make 30 years ago, 25 years ago, but you're going to start building a community, and then you'll be able to capitalize. There's different, non-traditional ways then to capitalize it. You have 1 million followers, and you have 100,000 followers.
We're
that kind of stuff.
back end dudes now, man. Yeah. Like, it may not in the beginning, it may not be like we want, but I'm telling you, I believe on that back end thing. And like, if your intention is to make good films, forget what's going to happen. You're going to be taken care of, because the universe is going to take care of you. And then you have that mindset, then it'll happen. You'll see.
From the Wake.Show comment section, Chris Brown says it's not about people not having the 99 cents. They're just lazy. And Chris Brown also says live shows and merch are what sells because there are concrete memories, so to speak. Yeah. And that's true too. That's why you're seeing a lot of these bands gigging a all more than they once did.
I play all the time. Yeah. I mean, you do. Captain, could you do a song right now? Is that a good time?
You go right ahead, and we'll come back. Let's play a little song here. Take a little breather, and we'll come back because I want to hear your thoughts, Ryan, on Infinity War and Deadpool 2.
Sounds good.
And then tomorrow, Chris, we will have a special little treat for everybody. Adam says it's harder to torrent a song than it is to download it legally.
You're right. Isolation is the only way for me to be free. I can turn the television on and only makes me see the awful things, the evil things, the things that made me contemplate if it's too late for us. Because we make all these stupid mistakes in our world, because we're afraid, but we're only just afraid of ourselves. Timing's everything. Everything ain't always cracked up to be what it seems. Look at you and me, our dreams are painted for us, but is this for us, or is it too good to believe? Every time I stop and look around, I can finally see why it's hard enough to be human with all this stuff we're consuming. I'm not satisfied. What could you need? But I'm still not satisfied. Sounds a lot like greed to me. Well, take the wheel for a while as I to steer. Oh, my child, isn't it obvious? Just do your best. And the best is yet to come. Timing's everything. Everything ain't always cracked up to be what it seems. Look at you and me, our dreams are painted for us, but is this for us, or is it too good to believe? Every time I stop and look around, I can finally see we gotta learn to be, because it feels so right when you learn to be, because we're running out of time. Learn to be for your children and mine, and those before us who die before their time. Timing's everything. Everything ain't always cracked up to be what it seems. Look at you and me, our dreams are painted for us, but is this for us? Is it too good to believe? Every time I stop and look around, I could finally see. Timing is everything.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you, fellas.
All right, so let's talk about a couple other movies before we move on, and one of them is going to be Deadpool. I haven't seen Deadpool 2 yet.
Oh, it's so good.
All right, that's all I need to know on that one then. Oh, wait.
Right, I want to see it twice.
You've seen it twice?
It's one of those movies you have to see a second time. There's so many moments of comedy.
I do need. You're going to say the same thing about Solo too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I love you, dude. You should come on every week.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's go back to Jedi, because we brought up Jedi, when we were talking about this earlier. But did you think, as a filmmaker, were there a handful of jokes that just didn't belong, like right there in the beginning, that parking thing or whatever, the very beginning of the movie?
What are you talking about?
Jedi,
not Solo.
Not Solo.
No, I'm talking about Jedi. So
Gotcha,
the very beginning,
he was about to walk out the room.
You see me, man. I really don't want to know.
And then like that moment in Jedi when
we throw
well, there's a couple of moments that I felt like, listen, I'm not going to hate on it. Because I really enjoyed the movie from beginning to end, but it did seem a little punchy. Whether it was that scene in the very beginning or when Luke Skywalker, dusts his shoulders off or does that.
Where he throws the
or whatever that.
Where he throws the lightsaber. That's the first thing, right? That's the first joke, literally, because it's this big buildup for 2 years that what's he going to do when he gets the thing, and he takes the lightsaber and just throws it over his shoulder into down the rocks.
Right.
That was the first joke.
Right, I remember.
And then there was just constant. I think there was just a bunch of kind of.
There were a couple I remember. Yeah.
Where do you think those came from? Because it seems like from the outside in that those are obvious. That in a writer's room, we go, all right, we're getting a little too punchy here. Yeah, those are cute, but they're not going to make it.
I mean, it was a lot of Rian Johnson, the director, and then Mark Hamill. I think probably
had a hand in that.
Yeah,
okay,
because he's a quirky dude.
Okay.
But it's a little, because like you watch Solo and you see Ron Howard and the way he did his charming comedy, and you're just like Ron Howard is like, this is the man who made Willow, Cocoon. The guy knows subtle comedies, little adventure comedy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ron Howard, well-rounded director, and you see the Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson's done Looper. He did some other serious films. But you see the comedy just kind of doesn't hit. Something you're kind of just like, okay. And Last Jedi as storytelling, I liked it. It was definitely, big twist ending.
Yeah, I loved it.
Can we spoil it? Can we spoil that? Because I want to talk about that ending of, when Luke died.
Yeah.
Is he really dead?
Yeah, he has to be.
Because here's the thing. What's up with the hand? The hand can't disappear when the man was metal. So when he disappeared, I thought the hand would drop.
But technically...
You feel me?
But technically, you could say that about Hayden Christensen, right? Or you could say Darth Vader dying. He's half a machine.
And this whole thing faded out.
Yeah, but then maybe because he was evil.
Here we go.
Because his old boy Sith, when he cut him in half. Remember the Sith? He cut him in half. The Sith when Obi-Wan, he didn't disappear. Like I thought maybe it's an evil thing. Like you're good and pure, then you fade out.
Who in half?
What's his name? The guy with the horns, the double.
You don't watch I'm not going to tease anything, but you don't watch the animated show.
You know what? I've seen some of the animated show, not all of it.
Do you?
You mean like the Clone Wars animated show?
I know.
Can I just start yelling nerds?
I know. But there's
now, baby. I love it.
So real quick.
Yeah.
So you're talking about Darth Maul, right?
Yes, Darth Maul.
I know.
Yeah, of course.
So you haven't watched the animated show?
No.
You don't know. I hate to tell you this, but Darth Maul is alive in the show. So he lives after the Phantom Menace.
Oh,
and I think
man.
You should,
what the...
Yeah, he lived after Phantom Menace. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Wow.
So what? I gotta catch up, man.
Yeah, all right.
Before we leave, you just gotta tell me which episode, what I need to watch, and I'll go check it out.
You gotta watch the Rebels. Just watch
Done.
because Obi-Wan. You got so there's
Done.
an amazing showdown. It's a whole nother thing.
So it's a part 2 then. But
So there's
them,
Clone Wars,
there's another
but
fight with them. I'm saying.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan and Darth Maul show down eventually. in between, right? Episode 3 and episode 4.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Chris is
Yeah,
like, God, these nerds. It's Blue Wednesday. We're all wearing blue at the same time, and we're nerding out at the same time too. So.
There's a lot that, and the great thing is all the Star Wars films connect with those shows.
Oh, then I got to. Then
so
I
like
watch them,
in Rogue One,
Yep,
there's
it.
actually parts of that Rebel show in Rogue One.
Okay. See,
So-
this is now I'm a nerd.
So now
but
that
I got to step my nerd game up.
So
man.
just understand, like that's why Darth Maul did not turn into a ghost.
Okay.
So Carson says, how does anyone have time to keep up with all these stories, storylines?
Yeah, luckily I haven't watched all the Rebels. I'm just aware, socially aware.
Right.
He's socially
You say
aware.
that I am just not aware.
I
like
watched
it.
some. I read some of the pages.
All right, so Deadpool 2 then.
Great
I'm
movie.
hearing nothing but amazing things about
Great
this movie.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Funnier than the
I
first.
loved all the constant jabs at every single Marvel thing.
Loved it. And what I loved, and they're not going to spoil, what I loved is if you watch the trailer, they did a great job of not really giving too much away. And that's to me is missing in a lot of films. Like a lot of times you see a trailer and you're like, dude, I just saw the whole movie. You know what I mean?
Think
But you
about
just-
why they do that though. Because
now I know why. Now I'm like, that was awesome. Thank you.
I think about why trailers give away so much is because they're trying to get they are trying to drag people
into
to
it,
go
yeah,
to see this movie in theaters to buy it. Please don't steal it. Don't download illegally. Come to the theaters. How much do I got to show you to entice you?
Right.
And like
Deadpool, they did not have to do that at all.
yeah, right.
It
No,
was
you-
great.
right, because it did so well the first one.
Yeah.
The Marvel movies, they don't have to show a lot to try to entice people to go see it.
It's true.
It's usually the movies that you're like, oh man, I actually sometimes I'll be watching a trailer, I turn it off. If I'm hooked, I'm 30 seconds in, I'm good. I don't want to see any other trailers till I see the movie.
Yeah, and we did that. I was doing that for the whole Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings. I was just don't want to watch it. I do that now. I'm turning off. That's why I'm sitting here like, don't tell me.
You got
I
me
just wanna
sold
go
on
in
the
with
teaser.
nothing.
You already got me sold on the teaser. Stop showing me.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to know anything. Yeah, very good.
All right, so Deadpool 2 is definitely awesome. You have to go see that one. Infinity War.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of spoilers in Infinity War too.
Yeah, you almost
Can't really talk about it?
I mean, yeah, you could.
Almost.
I think I do
Don't.
in a non-spoiler way. I like people are like, oh, I mean, this is the thing. It's like once again, I'm a filmmaker, so like sitting in a movie theater with people that have no idea
what's happening.
right? What's going on before, not knowing that there's. Guys, don't worry. There's a sequel that comes out in like less than 12 months.
Right,
don't worry.
right.
Like I read the trades, so obviously I know Spider-Man 2 is coming out. You know,
Okay.
Spider-Man 2 is going to be coming out.
Right.
Black Panther 2 got greenlit like before the other one ever came out.
Right.
So don't worry.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
but filmmaking wise,
Yeah.
amazing. How you can make all those characters fit into a movie and
beautifully.
all have reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I can go hours talking about why Warner Brothers and Justice League just doesn't work.
All right, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's so
Maybe
frustrating.
because it's DC.
Well, it's just so
I'm a
frustrating,
Marvel guy. I was a
like,
Marvel guy. So.
See, I love Batman. It's just frustrating because watching Justice League was like
Just
they try to make Bruce Wayne Tony Stark, and it just doesn't work.
doesn't work. And then Ben Affleck, I feel like they went down. Like
I am a Ben Affleck fan. Always
Christian
been.
Bale is the best Batman ever. You deny that?
I'm not gonna say Christian Bale is good. He's a good
Who do
Batman.
you think was better?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Like, where they're all different Batman. They really are. Technically, Christian Bale was in the best Batmans, right?
So who do
the
you think
best
was-
all-around Batmans.
But who do you think was better than Christian Bale then?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I just wanna
Michael
say-
It's tough
like,
to
you
say.
can't say
Like,
Michael
Where's Michael
No.
Keaton on the list?
I love Michael Keaton.
Love
So
him, but he wasn't as good as Christian
this is
Bale.
the thing.
Val Kilmer?
No.
Val Kilmer was like I love Val Kilmer.
No,
at
I
the
love
time.
Val Kilmer,
Now
but no.
now my thing is they're different movies. Like Christian
true.
Bale had so much more to work with, and you
More
watch the original Batman. I mean, Batman had one really good scene. You know, he had one good scene as Bruce Wayne, and it's him and Kim Basinger going back and back and forth. He's like, "Are you gonna?" Kim Basinger turns to him. He's like, "Are we gonna learn to love each other?" And he just walks away. That's like their one really great scene. It was an awesome scene, and you're like, "Wow, that was Michael Keaton's like one scene." And like Christian Bale has three great, like all this great writing and everything to work with.
Supporting actors, Morgan Freeman was in it, Michael Caine. I mean, it
was definitely a bigger, different budget, different story. And like then you saw it in Batman Returns, Michael Keaton got to do a little bit more, and it makes me wonder what Michael Keaton could have done with a better all around like world
and everything else. But I mean, but also
Christian Bale is great. Christian Bale was great, and I think
Heath Ledger, greatest Joker ever, of course.
He's definitely unique. Yeah. I think it's great. Once again, he had a lot more to work with, and it's kind of it comes down to story and writing and all that stuff. Because technically, like. I love the Dark Knight movies, and I was super excited about Ben Affleck becoming Batman. And I was so excited because DC has it so much more easy than Marvel because Marvel,
Superman and Batman,
right? DC and Warner Brothers owns everything, right? Warner Brothers doesn't have to worry about how the X-Men and the Guardians of the Galaxy are not going to meet up. They're in the comic books. Oh my God, how are we going to do this? All this. So if you guys didn't know, Fox, Sony, Disney, they all own different parts of Marvel, right? So that's why it makes it so hard. Gotcha. So Warner Brothers owns it all. And they have the better stories. Mm-hmm. All the characters have already been fleshed out for years. Marvel had a lot of one-dimensional characters that all the Marvel creators, all the writers had to like, shoot, how are we going to make Captain America, Thor interesting? Mm-hmm. And then they had to do that. DC has the stories.
That's right.
All they got to do is put it to film.
So how did they botch up Justice League? I saw it one, and I was like, eh.
Well, I think Man of Steel. I think I didn't like Man of Steel.
I liked Man of Steel.
I actually went to go see it twice. And what this is from my like visual thing. I tell this to people all the time. Like Zack Snyder. I liked Zack Snyder. 300 was a great movie.
Yeah, great.
Right, but then you go to watch Man of Steel. You go watch the Batman vs Superman. Like, there's something about it that's missing, and people don't understand it. Like, I get so frustrated because
which was the one with Kevin Costner? Was
exactly. So Kevin Costner's my boy. That's like my that's my man crush. That's my guy. That's my idol. I love Kevin Costner. When Kevin Costner shows up in a movie, like that was the best part of Batman vs Superman. I'm like, finally, storytelling, like character development.
Right.
Yeah. So he was in Man of Steel and Batman. He had a quick clip in Batman vs Superman,
right,
and that was the best part of my. That was a favorite part of the movie because the movie actually slowed down. Mm-hmm. So my thing about Zack Snyder, his movies never slow down, and I see it as this is like kind of like a roller coaster, right? If the movie is constantly at 10, 10, 10, just beat you at 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 becomes 1 on the Richter scale, right?
Right.
And then like I actually fell asleep twice in Man of Steel in the movie theater.
I did too. Fell asleep.
Yeah, twice. Man of Steel.
I loved it. I just thought there was a better story. I don't know what it is. I'd have to go back and watch it all. But I think there was a better storytelling that I remember. I liked that it slowed down.
It didn't slow down though. Like it all takes place in like 3 days. That's what frustrates me too. Is his movies? It doesn't seem like they're spanning time. Right? You watch Batman, Batman Returns, even Batman Forever. You know, you're seeing a world.
Yeah.
Things are slowing down. I want to see Bruce Wayne take a girl on a date. I want to see Clark interacting with Lois Lane.
Oh,
I want to
see
see
what
that
you're
thing,
saying.
character development.
Okay, right.
Man of Steel was just constantly boom, 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 boom. Batman vs Superman was just constantly boom, 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 boom. Take it down. Pace yourself.
I like the way they went back to Krypton in Man of Steel. I like the way
that was cool.
Kevin Costner basically said, "Hey, you can't save me here."
That was a cool scene.
That was a great scene. And there was another scene that was a little. A friend of mine who's much more into that world did not like at the end where Superman ultimately killed the guy.
Right, that was a big thing.
He said he felt that is not the Superman universe that he grew up with. Right. Superman would never have that moment of just breaking something.
Right, and then they said the same thing about Batman and Batman vs Superman because he was actually he was like tearing people up.
Yeah, he was.
Now, once again, it was supposed to be kind of questioning both those characters. Is like, is that the world is making them out of their like taking them out of their own personal character where they want to be doing it. But in the day, in conclusion, like those movies are just constantly at 10, and they don't slow down to develop the characters. You don't care about anything. You really don't care. Like I could not care about Superman. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Batman is one of the coolest characters, deepest characters, and I was so excited for this whole to build this whole universe, Suicide Squad, because some of the best stories lie beneath that, right, between the Joker and Batman. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna have 3 or 4 movies in a row, maybe to build up on the Joker Batman dynamic,
right?
And that's one of the coolest give and take, yin and yang dynamics is they can't live without each other. And I was like, awesome. And then they were gonna dive into how he killed Joker killed Robin, because I was so excited all about that. That's some of the greatest storytelling,
right?
And I was like, wow, they're gonna really open this up. And Ben Affleck's gonna have a whole palette to build on,
and they just didn't.
Yeah, they what they did is oh shoot, we got to catch up to Marvel, and then
there you go, there it is.
They're trying to catch up to Marvel. Next thing you know, they're throwing Aquaman in there and Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman, right?
Yes,
good movie. I loved Wonder Woman.
Fell asleep twice.
Really?
Wow.
So my thing about Wonder Woman, watch Wonder Woman and watch Batman vs Superman. Wonder Woman slows down.
That's where
right, and there is constant action, right? But it's small action. It's her blocking a bullet, her making jokes, building on her character. She's in a bar. How she, interacting with other people, normal humans. It slows down. There is constant action. It doesn't have to be going through buildings, but there is constant action and constant character development. Watch it and it's a good movie.
I was confused with Wonder Woman. I didn't know if she was slow, not that bright. At one moment, I was like, is she making jokes? Is she just kind of slow off? I don't know. I don't know. It was hard to figure out what.
Right, it's a fish out of water story.
Okay,
right? She's not because she's technically right. She's from
another
whole world, pretty technically.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought there were some funny parts. I don't know.
And so the cool thing is, I don't know. So Arrested Development is a great TV show. It just the 5th season just released on Netflix yesterday. And if you go back and you watch the shows, a lot of the directors of that show went on to direct Marvel and DC movies. As you know, I don't know if you watch Arrested Development, Jason Bateman, very funny comedy, very smart. But Patty Jenkins directed a couple episodes. She's the director of Wonder Woman. The Russo brothers who directed the Infinity Wars and Captain America, they directed that.
Nice.
So it's actually interesting to see these guys who do $200-300 million movies start with such a very basic comedy, awesome. Improv comedy.
All right, well, let's hit a couple of things that are in the news today. First of all, our guest yesterday. Let's update everybody on her, Chris.
So our guest yesterday, Amber Ray, she is evacuated from the Kilauea, the volcano in south of Hawaii. And what was happening yesterday is she didn't know what was going to happen to her land. Is she going to lose it? Is it not? And last night she got the news that the lava was on her front. Her driveway. So yeah, it's really rough. And so she's basically in that saying goodbye to her house type situation. So that's what's happening now, which is really rough.
So our thoughts
and prayers.
Yeah, if you go back to yesterday's show, she's very detailed and a charismatic storytelling when it comes to describing what's been happening to her and her family and the people of that area over the past few weeks. 400
earthquakes in one day.
Yeah.
Every 4 minutes. So yeah.
Well, here's a ridiculous story coming out of that, Chris. I'm sorry for giggling at this because there is tragedy. People are losing everything. So the USGS is saying, please do not roast marshmallows over the Hawaii volcano. So this has become a thing.
That's crazy.
The question taking over Twitter today: can you roast a marshmallow over the volcano erupting in Hawaii? Well, the U.S. Geological Survey took a break from its usual serious updates to answer the pondering minds on social media. The USGS responded to a tweet asking, They said, is it safe to roast marshmallows over volcanic vents, assuming you had a long enough stick, that is, or would the resulting marshmallows be poisonous? The government organization hardly held back its judgment by writing continuing with, we're going to have to say, no, that's not safe. Please don't try. Well, don't patronize us. Don't be condescending. Don't talk down to us. It's a legitimate question. There's some fire there. I've got some marshmallows. If I had a long enough stick, could I work it out there? No, because the fumes, what's coming off the gas would infuse the marshmallow and it would kill you. You don't have to be smart asses, you smart people. Where you go? What are you doing?
That's crazy. What am I doing? I'm sure. Make sure my world is together. my small insignificant world is together.
As a filmmaker, Ryan, can you just enjoy?
Could you do a documentary over there? I mean, I guess what would it take to do that? Like that might be pretty interesting.
Well, documentaries are interesting. So I actually helped co-produce a documentary on the Tampa Tribune, the closing down of the Tampa Tribune. If you guys know, it closed down 2 years ago. Abruptly.
Right.
Producer Debbie Kerr and Ian Lund, we were actually in there when it closed down. So documentaries are interesting.
Yeah.
Forever changing.
All right, as a filmmaker, can you just simply enjoy a film? Can you walk in?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I turn off. I can do it
awesome.
now. I can watch in two ways. Sometimes I'll just sit in the movie theater. I go by myself usually because I'll go sit in there for 2 or 3 hours. I'll movie hop sometimes.
Yeah.
So I try to enjoy it. I can enjoy movies. Like there's some things I can turn it on and off. Sometimes I'm analyzing it for certain reasons. Sometimes I'm gonna go see Solo. I'm gonna have some freaking fun. And sometimes people are like, "How do you like that movie?" I'm an '80s-aholic.
Yeah, you mentioned Willow and Cocoon. I was like,
yeah, I love '80s movies. I love '80s movies. I love.
What'd you think about? Did you see Ready Player One yet?
Yeah, I love.
What'd you think? Did you read the book or did you listen to the Will?
It's funny because I had an ex-girlfriend who just kept telling me to read that dang book and I never did. I'm like,
maybe that's why she's your ex.
Yeah, I know. Right? But no, it was. I loved all the Easter eggs, the Zemeckis cube. Robert Zemeckis, director of Back to the Future. Like they put his little stuff in there. That was a fun movie. Spielberg.
It did deviate quite a bit from.
That's what I did hear that. I did hear that.
Did you like it, Chris?
I did enjoy the movie. Okay.
Would you see it twice? That's like my new thing. Would you see it twice?
I would. Yes, I would probably see it again just to see what I missed the first time.
Okay.
But it also the book itself. There's so many pop culture references that had they made the movie a little bit more like the book, it would have been insane, just absolutely insane. But they wouldn't have been able to. They couldn't. They had to change things because in the book you can write whatever you want. But when you go to make the film, once you go say they want to make a reference to or put in something from Back to the Future, well, they're going to have to go pay somebody for that.
And they did. And obviously, you know what though, the director owns that movie, so that's fine. That's why it probably made it easy, right? But, Spielberg is an executive producer on Back to the Future.
Yes.
So half the movies that they reference are his property.
Because the scene, the Shining scene.
Yeah, that's a big spoiler, but yeah.
Well,
I was gonna talk about it. That was like a fan. That was a cool thing.
But that's not in the book at all.
Now, do you understand why that was a cool moment? So Spielberg and Stanley Kubrick worked together.
Right.
So when Kubrick passed away, do you know Spielberg directed the last few days of Eyes Wide Shut?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
And then AI, artificial intelligence movie.
Yes, right.
That was actually Kubrick's film, and Spielberg directed that film.
Okay.
And tried to do his best way through a Kubrick's eye and stuff like that. So they actually had a cool relationship. And that's what's kind of cool about his kind of homage and putting the thing. And
it was neat.
And that wasn't it cool, right? Because what it was the riddle was a writer or a creative person who hates their adaptation or something like that. Because Stephen King never liked The Shining, the movie.
Yep.
And I thought that was a cool thing.
And then Stephen King did get a hold of it again years later, and that was a piece of crap.
Yeah, the made-for-TV movie. Oh,
so horrible.
Yeah.
that was one of those movies that scared me.
Yeah, they're doing a Shining sequel.
Are they really? Mm-hmm. Who's directing it?
I read it the other day and I can't remember.
Well, here's the thing about Ready Player One, and I know it's just a reality of filmmaking, but I felt like it was made for the younger crowd. Like it wasn't made for the people that lived through the 80s. The movie itself was definitely something that could suck in somebody who was born in 1996 and keep their attention.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, it was a pretty good movie. I still recommend downloading the audiobook and have Will Wheaton read it to you. All right, a couple other things. This is kind of weird in the news today. FBI is suggesting everybody reboot their wireless. When you see this kind of stuff coming out of the government, it's a good thing that I am not into conspiracy theories or paranoid, because you're like, the FBI says everybody needs to reboot their router now. I'm like, why? What's the FBI up to?
Right.
But they're saying here, if you have a home router, chances are you probably want to reboot it. The FBI is urging small businesses and every household in the country to reboot wireless internet routers. Foreign cyber actors compromise hundreds of thousands of homes and office routers, and to use VPN, I don't know what this stuff means, VPN filter malware as the method of attack, according to the FBI. Quote, This VPN filter is able to render small office and home office routers inoperable. The malware can potentially... Dude, the router didn't work last night at my gig. I wonder if they got affected. Yeah, because I connect to the router. Now I have my music on a hard drive, but I also like to connect to so that way I can use Spotify, right? And it wasn't working last night. I wonder if if something happened there. So I just wanted to I felt like there was one of those pieces of information that if you hadn't come across it yet, you can Google it yourself if you want to find something else. But go ahead, if you got a small business or you're at home, just reboot your router. And then the FBI is going to have control of your mind. I'm pretty sure this is how this is going to work out.
Yeah. So, any conclusion, hashtag beware what you share.
All right, next up today. So a man. So here we go. This goes back to your the premise of your film almost. This is a YouTuber trying to pull a prank out at Disney, and he's going to spend 3 days in jail because of it. So. I'm sorry that was there. That has nothing to do with the story.
I was like, LeBron, what happened?
So media report outlets are saying that an Arizona man has been sentenced to 3 days in jail after deputies say he falsely told guests at Walt Disney World there was an active shooter on the property as part of a YouTube stunt. 22-year-old Dylan Birch was telling the lie to guests at the Contemporary Resort so he could get the reactions for his YouTube channel.
Dude, see, that's just nuts. What's wrong with you, dude? Just so I can...
It is scary.
Fame chasers.
Yeah,
that's the era we live in.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you the God's honest truth. I was in Disney with my kids on Johanny's 4th birthday, and I remember walking out trying to leave, and there was all these people, and I just had this horrible. And I guess there was some shooting that had just taken place. I had this horrible thought. I was like, you know what? That would be the worst day in history if someone came in here and did that at Disney.
Oh yeah,
and so to hear that, I'm like, it just brought that memory back. Like, and I never wanted to share it because you don't want to speak things into existence. But not cool, dude. I'm glad he's going to jail. He should go to jail for 10 days.
But I bet you if I ask my nieces and nephews who are under 10 years old, they know who this guy is and probably watch his YouTube channel every single day.
Like, man?
So what's that like too, being a filmmaker in the age of people becoming a lot more famous and richer than you without having to put in the time, the creativity, the effort, the work? I mean, some of these videos and something, you're just watching people play video games and they're more famous than any of us will ever be.
It's wild. Like I was hanging out at my buddy's girlfriend's house, and her little brother was just laying on a couch one night. And I'm like, what are you doing? Are you playing video games? So no, I'm watching somebody play video games. Like, what do you mean? It's like, I'm just watching this guy play video games. I'm like, so you just sit here all night watching somebody else play video games?
And in that moment, you wanted to grab that kid and start hitting the monitor with him.
Like,
I'm like, what do you mean? You don't want? Why aren't you playing? He's like, no, I just like this guy and how he plays and his commentary. And it's just like, it kind of like, I was like, man, don't you just want to grab a controller and play?
It's weird, dude.
Get the heck out of the house.
And I remember, like, growing up, and we couldn't get past some guy, the big bad guy, like, you pass it off and you watch, and if someone does well, like, no, I just watch. Like, I get it, it's still a form of entertainment, but I still
I used to hate having to. I mean, so I was a younger brother. I used to have to watch my brother play all night. Then you have to wait till he goes to sleep, and then you have to wake up before him the next morning before your dad returns the game back to block.
Yeah. See, mine was that we would get stuck at a spot, and then we go back and forth, and he'd kind of veer off, and I would stay persistent and do it. And once I beat it, he'd take over from me and start playing it. That was our. I remember that. Cool.
Elliot wants to know if there's a parallel to watching sports. Is it weirder to watch people play video games or to watch other men in tights play sports games?
He's got a point. There's just something about excellence. I mean, he might be killing it, because if you're watching someone play who's awesome, and then you're just watching excellence, you're watching basketball players and you're watching excellence, maybe we are drawn to excellence.
All right. Okay.
Good job, Elliot. My dog.
Okay, let's talk about Roseanne, you guys. So she continues to be in the news because she went back on Twitter yesterday after her show got canceled and said it was the Ambien talking. It was the Ambien talking. Now, she has since pulled down that tweet. Yeah, but Roseanne Barr, after her racist tweet.
What'd she say?
You didn't read about this?
Oh, Chris, you don't even know about the beginning of the story?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I was just like, who's a black girl? That's awesome.
So you don't know? So Roseanne.
I have no idea what's going on.
So obviously Roseanne came back.
Yes. And he's been telling me to watch those episodes, which I haven't had time
to. Too late.
Yeah, too late. The show's been canceled. So she made a racist tweet yesterday. Do you want to?
2 days ago.
Yeah. So go ahead. You can read it.
All right. I'm trying to see where the original tweet is because right now I'm at the story.
There was somebody that worked for Obama.
Her name is Valerie Jarrett, and she said basically the tweet was. Valerie Jarrett looks like if the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby. She's half black. And so that was it.
Yeah.
Are you laughing because it's so absurd? You don't know what the reaction is supposed to be? Well,
I'm not
that's
laughing.
unexpected.
Wait, say it again.
She said, all right, now you're going to make me pull up a picture of this woman now, too. If the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby. So now let me go ahead and pull up.
She blamed the Ambien.
And then she blamed the Ambien.
Blame it on the rain. Yeah. Blame it on the boogie.
Now, once again, though, a lot of these companies that have made these like quick decisions, they already know. Like, that's the thing. Kevin Spacey, before he got fired and they had to pull the plug on House of Cards, they knew stories. They already knew
Why
the stories.
Why did they pull the story on House of Cards? I got into season 2 and I just stopped.
No, what do you mean? They did not pull the plug on the show. They fired Kevin Spacey because sexual allegations.
What are you? Oh, a boy, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was a younger actor.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd recognize the actor because he was in the movie Road Trip and some other stuff.
Okay.
But when he was allegedly like 14, 15,
now,
16.
I've heard through other actors that definitely Kevin Spacey was gay. Mm-hmm. But it was never public knowledge.
Right, that's always been a rumor around for
it was always a big
years.
rumor.
Okay.
So then obviously the allegations came out, then he came out as being gay. And then boom.
So was this before House of Cards or was it during
before House of Cards? But there's been constant there's been other allegations throughout the whole thing.
There's been rumors about Kevin Spacey going way back.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I never heard any allegations of sexual misconduct. Mm-hmm. But this story goes back to the 80s when allegedly at some party this kid had...
No, it wasn't even a party. I think it was just... they were in a play, I think, in somewhere, and the kid was in the play.
So it was an after party then or something?
Okay.
Yeah.
Casting party, I get
it. Or whatever it was. The kid went to lay down in a bed, right? He went to lay down.
In a hotel room, yeah.
Okay, in a hotel room, and then Kevin Spacey crawled into bed with him, allegedly, according to the kid.
Yeah.
Now... supposedly these rumors have been swirling, and even Family Guy had made a reference to Kevin Spacey,
right? Because it's
going back years ago, too.
Right? It's within the film industry, people know, right? Like I heard it from guys who were just extras on different movies of Kevin Spacey. They know, right?
Right.
You know, and it's once again, that's why do you think Brett Ratner, right? Brett Ratner, as soon as allegations came out, boom. They fired him, kicked him out of his office the next day.
What did Brett Ratner do?
Because they already
more
knew.
Sexual allegations about models and stuff like that. Now,
and that dude dated Serena Williams.
he dated a lot of women, a lot of models. Yeah. Now, I heard allegations stuff about him through the days too. There was jokes about him, like Olivia Munn, all that stuff. So that's the thing. The studios know, people know, and so that's why they can turn that switch real quick on you. That's why they knew Kevin Spacey. So if he was going to do something, they were like, okay, boom, next day, gone.
Right.
And then Ridley Scott recast and reshot his whole movie and released it within 6 weeks about firing him.
One of the joke
edge.
The joke that I'm referencing from a Family Guy was Stewie. Like it's a scene, how Family Guy can be just very random. Yeah. Well, it's a scene, and then randomly Stewie comes into the scene like running naked, and he's just screaming, "I escaped from Kevin Spacey's basement" as he's running through this, and that was it.
Yeah.
So,
I love Stewie, man.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane has a lot of those references. I'm pretty sure he probably made some Weinstein references too.
Yeah, well, so I saw the picture of the lady, that Roseanne. I mean, Roseanne, she's off, dude. Like, I don't know what y'all want.
Well, once again, so Roseanne has a.
So you're talking about this. This is the woman she's talking about, Chris.
Right. They kind of look a little alike to me.
Oh, those two?
I mean, those pictures. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter, man.
So what it wasn't an isolated incident.
True,
right?
That is true.
She has a long period. Now she is a comedian, right? There's always the battle is that she's a comedian. This is what she does.
But she also said of Susan Rice back during the Obama administration, she was just going off about Susan Rice and on something and said she had huge ape balls. And it's just,
And
I don't know the woman's heart. I don't know how racist she is, but this is just stuff you don't say.
Especially for a company owned by Disney.
Right. I mean,
sucks for John Cook. What it
I was going to say, all the other guys, Goodman and all them, like, you took it. Like, you're only as good as your weakest link. That's what I'm trying to say, man.
So then, once again, right? It's like the Bill Cosby thing. It's the guy, the father from Seventh Heaven, right? So there is once again, it's not just Roseanne who's affected. It's all these people who just put all their time and money over the last few years to get the show back on. And then it's not just this show, right? Every single channel that had the reruns. That the show was in syndication.
Gone. Cosby Show, gone. That's
right. No, Roseanne. So Roseanne, all the channels that had it on syndication, gone. So all the residuals, gone. So you're talking about people that are living off that. That is their livelihood. That's their retirement plan.
All
gone.
Because you said
I tweeted something.
Stay off of Twitter. Stay off the social media. I just urge everybody. You want to say something, just erase it. Write it and erase it. Just don't.
Write it in a Word doc.
Oh my goodness.
I'm trying to find the Ambien account because Elliot says that Ambien had a great response to
really.
But I can't see.
Warning: may cause this, but
may cause you to say some stupid shit.
May cause racism.
Right.
Well, I know. I
trigger something inside.
I have some Ambien stories. I have Ambien stories. I took Ambien for a little while.
Did you ever sleepwalk? Because my mom told me she sleepwalked a couple times.
One funny one is opening up the fridge the next morning and there's a pizza in there from Papa John's. I don't remember ordering it. And not only that, but when I opened it up, it was the toppings, which I don't recall at the time, were toppings I would never order. It would, and not only that, but it looks like I poured ranch over the entire thing too, and only had a slice.
Hey, then you know what? And then maybe there's some validity to what she's saying, if that's the case.
Oh no, Ambien will definitely make you do some crazy shit, or can make you do some stuff that you.
She needed to not be on the Ambien when she was. I don't know, man. I'm judging again. I don't know, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Here's what Ambien tweeted. People of all races, religions, and nationalities work at Sanofi every day to improve the lives of people around the world. While all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects, racism is not a known side effect.
There you go.
I love it.
There you go.
There was one day I called a buddy of mine. I was like, hey man, I can't remember. Somebody was supposed to come over to the house and I was supposed to give them something. Hey, when are you coming over to pick up the whatever? And he goes, I was there Sunday night. I already got it. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you and I talked for like 10 minutes.
Oh,
and so I would take an Ambien, go lay down, and then something would wake me up, a phone call or whatever it was. And next thing you know, I'd go back through my phone the next day and see that I've had all these conversations on Ambien that I do not recall at all.
Right. That's crazy.
Send off emails and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. That's
but she's been known to say crass and questionable things back before when she was married with Tom Arnold. And
she also pulled down that tweet, too.
You know. I mean, look, I was on Dilaudid and all this stuff when I had my knee surgery, which is a big baddie. I didn't come out saying some racist stuff.
It turned him racist. He was dropping N-bombs left and right.
And black people gotta go.
Get this skin off of me!
What's going on? Oh man, that was dude.
Now let's talk about whether or not there is some Hollywood hypocrisy here. We'll start with you. There are those people on the right that consider themselves conservative saying, well, she got booted way too quickly, that if she were left-leaning, if this weren't a show that appealed more to the conservative American, that there would have been a lot more leeway here.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. You get in there.
I was just gonna say, dude, she said something jacked up. Let's not try to make it to be something else other than it was. Like, she said something jacked up, and that's probably why she's gone. So
right, So Roseanne,
I know what they're trying to say.
But was it Kathy Griffith? She's definitely a leftist, and she
got shunned left and right. Yeah.
Her whole career is
gone
shot because she took the picture with Donald Trump's head.
That's a great point.
And her career that was fast.
That
and gone.
was it.
And you're talking about, CNN. She was like the host of New Year's on CNN. Gone. It was quick.
True.
I mean, there shouldn't be bipartisanship in prejudice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
It's
everybody right now. There is no holds barred. There is not many people are safe from being just fired.
Yeah, dude. Don't
There's technically only one person safe right now.
The
Tom
president.
Hanks.
No.
Tom Hanks.
I was gonna say the president of the United States, but he's the only person that's safeguarded right now.
Because look what he's saying, all kinds of
right.
stuff.
So
People
that's the
are
thing.
Woo!
Like everybody else, you look at Jeffrey Tambor, look at all the actors.
Yeah, look at with the boy who kneeled. Just blanking on his name.
Morgan Freeman just got.
Or Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick, not safe. You're not safe. You're not safe. You do anything that might be trying to bring people together. And like you're safe if you're bringing if you're
every week or so, there's somebody else coming out with allegations. And Morgan Freeman got hit last week.
For what?
Well, he said some creepy old man stuff.
What did he say?
Okay, so there was a woman
allegedly, or he said this.
Well, he said it.
Okay,
it's on video.
What did he say?
Okay, so there was a woman who was doing an interview with him, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin last year when their movie Going in Style was coming out on the press tour. She was pregnant. Okay, and you see the video. Michael Caine is like, I never ask if anybody's pregnant anymore because 30 years ago I asked and then she wasn't, so I don't even talk about it.
All right,
and then Morgan is like, I wish I was there, and like, I wish I was in, like,
the room,
the womb.
Oh, in the womb.
I thought he said, "I wish I was there, like in the 30s." So catch him.
I wish I was in the womb. And like Michael Caine looks at him. There's a video of it. And so after that, she went on to do an entire investigation over the last like 6 months, investigating all these big actors have their own production companies. Right. Yeah, he said some. Then there was some other.
All right, well, here we go. Let me go to the story here.
I wish I was there.
Actor Morgan Freeman fights back. A
little creepy.
That is so odd.
So Freeman threatens to sue CNN and release video he says proves he did not harass a pregnant reporter. Freeman, 80, claims a video filmed by the U.S. News Channel shows his comments were directed at Michael Caine, not Chloe Melasse, who was 6 months pregnant. You saw the video?
That's where I watched it live on CNN. But it was, I wish I was here. The quote is like, I wish I was there.
There it is. I wish I was there.
So they admit that he said it. So there's the pregnant woman there.
Is the video down a little bit? No.
They add, but Miss Melasse had no factual basis to have interpreted that as a statement about her or as sexual harassment. The videotape makes clear that Mr. Freeman was in fact responding to a story that Michael Caine had just told.
And that's what I took it as. Like, I wish I was there. Like, I 30 years ago, and I won't do it. I wish I was there. Like, because I have that same story. Like, man, I did. How long? I'm not. Ooh, never again.
So, once again, not the only incident, right? So now there's other production staff that they interviewed and investigated.
Oh no!
And there's some other video stuff. What's that?
By 8 women who say he tried to grope them and lure them on set.
Yeah.
Dirty old man.
Once again, old guy.
DOM.
There's not really an excuse for it, but
times are changing. You know, these guys are from a time. Donald Trump's from a time, kind of the Mad Men era, where if you were a man of power and you could say certain things, you could slap chicks in the butt and get away.
Yeah, I watched on Family Guy. They were talking about who was it? It was Peter having a conversation with Trump. He talked about I kiss him. I just grab him I just kiss him. I just grab I don't know, man. I'm not trying to. Yeah, it's not cool.
But the time, it just seems like the times are changing. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's just a phase, and then we go back to the way things were. But I think it's just probably one of those, the natural progression of events. Now,
ego could have something to do with it. I think ego is the downfall of man.
Yeah.
It was downfall of me in my career in the beginning. So,
all right.
What are you reading?
Steve says, I agree. Roseanne said some jacked up stuff and deserves what she got. But Wanda Sykes, who was part of the show as well, tweeted end of last year, white people don't steal wallets, they steal countries. And she didn't get fired, LOL.
Does she have her own show?
No, you're right. Good point. She does not have it. Yeah, had she been the center,
wasn't the center. Kevin Spacey was the center. Roseanne was the center. And, I don't know. I still know what he's saying. I get it. He's saying I get it. So, hypocrisy. It's like, dude.
So is there hypocrisy there?
Keep it consistent. I hear you.
Is that apples and apples?
Once again, I don't think Wanda Sykes had her own show. I don't think anybody's actually given her own show.
Ironically, she was writing. She was one of the executive producers or head writer or something like that for Roseanne.
Really?
She was one of the first people to quit. Once this happened, she goes, that's it, I'm out. And then people started to follow suit. Sarah Gellar, or whatever her name is, released something as well. No, not Sarah. Michelle, what's the blonde chick on Roseanne's? What's her name?
Oh,
wait, but here's a question.
Sarah Gilbert, is that right? Something like
aunt,
that.
The aunt, the one who plays the aunt, the sister.
Nah.
So here's a question for you guys. So is it okay if you are of the same race and you're making a joke about your race? Like, what if Wanda Sykes was Louis C.K. and made that joke? Was there a problem then?
No.
Okay.
Well, it's not the same, right? Because then, it doesn't register as the same. I mean, intellectually, we can have a discussion about academically whether or not they're the same, but it doesn't have the same effect.
So it goes back to, like, black people can say the N-word, but white people can't say the N-word. Like, it's just, I hear you.
Unless you bring a white girl up on stage to sing your song, Kendrick Lamar.
I just heard about that.
And she starts dropping the N-bomb, which is in your song. You can't chastise her on stage. I don't think anyway.
As a black man, I have to agree with you, my friend.
What?
I said, as a black man, I have to agree with you. Meaning, dude, you wrote this in a song, but you don't want anyone to say those words. Like,
yeah, and then you're chastising a fan too,
right? Like, dude,
yeah.
like, if you don't like Eminem does not say the N-word, and he just doesn't. Nope. And so he respects it. And so if you don't want someone who's white to say the N-word, then don't say the N-word in your song. That's kind of how I look at it, man. I'm not trying to be.
No, I thought that. I thought this was going to be a little. We weren't going to see things the same on this.
No, I think it's like you can't. You're baiting someone like. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, come up and sing my song, but like, what are they going to do? Bleep, like sing and bleep, like on stage and.
Yes, I sing Juicy at my shows. Notorious B.I.G. If you don't know now, and now everyone knows what he's about to say. I jump the gun and go, if you don't know now, drunk people, ha ha, just saved us from an awkward moment. Like I make a joke, people laugh because they know what's about to happen, and so I'm just. Because it's that moment, everyone's like, but do I not? Because and it's because it's touchy. We all know that it's a powerful word and that's negative. Like, just don't So I don't know, man. I feel like Kendrick, you can't get mad at your fan.
Yeah,
actually, you're called like I don't know, like pick different song for them to sing. I don't know.
Right. Well, here's what happened. The people started to boo. The crowd started to boo, and I think
boo her or boo him.
Boo her. And I think what happened is Kendrick Lamar then rode that wave of the crowd. That feel that was coming up instead of. I wonder if he had it to do over again. If he would have taken that, if he would have taken that moment, hey, listen, everybody, I brought her up here. She's singing my song. Right. None of you should have a problem with it. Ready? Let's go. Hit that N-word even harder this time, white girl. Go. Boom.
Yeah,
or like Chris said, if you don't want, if that makes you maybe this is a moment that changes Kendrick Lamar moving forward, where he goes, you know what? Chris is right. If I don't want to hear that coming out of the mouth of my fans back at me, then I shouldn't be putting in my songs.
I don't want
either.
my kids to curse, so I don't curse in front of them. It's hypocritical. It just is, man. I've been in a room where I'm the only black dude.
No, you're in one of those rooms right now.
And I've been in a room where I'm an only black dude. And I'm in Alabama, and people are just saying the N-word left and right, and they're trying to say with an A. And each time it was affecting me. It bothered me. It just does. I've been on a basketball court where a kid just said, in the middle of the game, you dumb and gets a technical, not thrown out. No one, and it's like no one is doing any. Like, are you serious? It's a technical, like, and I had to stomach that. Like, I've seen, people. Documentaries, or you've seen movies where the person's getting pulled over and you call boy and the N-word, and then they're being hanged. My baby sister had someone writing text messages, you're calling the N-word, and like, of course I want to go kill this kid. Like, it's a painful thing. I've been on a beach dancing with my brother late at night, just kind of kicking as a group of people you don't really know, and then someone just pushed my brother for no reason. And then you hear someone go, get the rope. I mean, like, I've been in these situations where it's like, yo, and you see me, I'm just trying to spread love and peace. So, again, I can understand where it's hitting. But if it's hitting, then be the change and be the one who's not. Hey, listen, man, that moment, what if Kendrick Lamar then says, "Okay, I'm not going to use it anymore in my songs because look what it did. It bothers people. It does bother you.
It polarizes his fans.
So, anyways,
all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, lastly, is a story that we can all have some fun with coming out of Florida. Unless you're sick and tired of seeing our state end up in the news. Please turn your attention to these screens right now as News 4 Jacksonville. Anonymous complaint in St. Augustine leads to the arrest of 2 on a drug charge. Well, Chris, this doesn't seem like all that different than a story we might find anywhere. Wait until we get to her name. An anonymous call to the St. Augustine police Saturday morning led to the arrest of 2 people on drug. Oh, you can see it already. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Damn it.
Funny, man.
For those of you that can read it above her head, that is her real name.
Stop.
Her name is Crystal Methvin. Crystal Methvin.
She was doomed at birth.
Yep.
No way. I feel like she gave the wrong name to the cops.
I asked her name.
She was high and said Crystal Methvin.
I thought he asked me what I was on. I'm Crystal Methvin.
She wrote that in under name.
Police said that they responded to the parking lot on South Dixie Highway and found 3 people sitting in a car. The people in the car consented to a search, and police say they found drug paraphernalia and substance that field tested positive for crystal meth. Crystal Methvin and Douglas Nickerson were arrested on drug possession charges. Wow, those poor bastards, but how hilarious.
Oh, man. Crystal! Oh, what are you in for?
What's wrong with her parents? Or did they have no idea? Was it crystal meth not a thing back then?
Man, that's crazy.
All right, Steve, before we go, he says, I think all racial comments are ignorant regardless of your color. We are all the same inside, just different pigment.
Yeah.
I don't hate my neighbor who has the same car I have just because his is red.
Thank you.
And mine's white.
Right. See, we're evolving slowly but surely. There's evolution, man.
Thank you so much to Ryan Justice, filmmaker, for being a part of the show today. What anything we can be looking out for in the near future? From you, what's next for you?
Well, we're developing a couple of projects. I'm going to be speaking.
Oh, you're always developing projects.
Always. Develop a few other projects. I'm actually going to be speaking this Sunday at a film networking meeting in Clearwater called Hacking Hollywood. I'm going to be kind of talking more detail about my process producing Followers, the movie. But you can contact me, Ryan Justice, Justified Films. I'm pretty well branded. But yeah, just constantly the hustle of trying to get the next movie off the ground. So
I want to ask you about one more movie before you leave because it was a Florida-based movie. And that was it called Florida Project?
The Florida Project, yeah.
Yeah, that one. The trailer looked amazing. As a kid that was raised on the outskirts of Disney, you know, myself, you could hear, we were 30 minutes of drive from Disney, but you could hear the fireworks every night at 9 o'clock. If it was a quiet night, you could go out front and hear that and see the flashes in the distance as well. But it's something that I saw that Willem Dafoe got some acclaim for. Yeah. And so what was your thought? Did you see the movie?
I'll be honest, I have not seen it yet.
Okay,
I have not seen it yet. I'm very familiar with it. And they had a big screening here. The producers and stuff came to St. Pete, and they did a big private screening here. Because obviously St. Pete's, out of a lot of the counties here in Florida, St. Pete's one of the more involved. But it's a small little movie. The director had done a lot of small projects. The director actually was famous. I think he's the one who did the iPhone film a few years ago. Did the whole movie on an iPhone.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Tangerine Dream, I think it's called. And so that was his next film, was the Florida Project. And once again, they don't have incentives here, so they had to work with each county by themselves. So to bring a film here is already somewhat risky, right? They can go make a movie in Atlanta, Louisiana, anywhere
make it look
else.
like anywhere in Florida,
right? Yeah. Go paint some buildings pastel, and you got it.
And now a movie from a couple years ago that was based out of Florida too was called Spring Break. They shot a lot of it here.
Right?
Spring Breakers.
Yeah.
Was that a horrible movie or one of the worst movies you ever seen in your effing life? I'm obviously leading the witness here.
Now it was a little wild. It's funny because I had a lot of friends that worked on that movie because it was shot right there in St. Pete Beach.
And the director, isn't he he's
artistically renowned,
right? Renowned,
yeah.
But
his movies are always kind of.
And I love to try to give somebody go. I don't quite get you, but I'm going to give you every. all of my attention, so maybe I can pick it up along the way. That movie seemed to just fall very flat. I don't know what he was trying to portray in that. Reusing footage in a movie, that bothered me.
That's lazy.
That annoyed the shit out of me. Like, right. I felt like he ran out of budget or something and needed filler.
Yeah, it's interesting films, right? Because they were lower budget films that they came here. That was besides that, obviously Magic Mike was filmed right there on St. Pete Beach, the first one. That was probably the more successful out of all the movies that were shot here in Florida.
Punisher did all right, right?
Yeah.
No, or is that
was 04,
thing?
and it came in 03. 03 is when that movie came to film. But like you had the 80s movie that was filmed in Miami. Not Take Me Home Tonight. Rock of Ages, the musical. Okay. That was actually filmed all in Miami to look like LA. That was part of the incentive program. But yeah, I think you could film here. We just did a movie with Kevin Sorbo was just in town. They produced a dolphin film here just in February.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just in February, Bernie the Dolphin. It should be, I think it releases in
no
December.
Association with the
Dolphin Tail.
Dolphin Tail. Notice that they're just trying to ride that wave.
Is it Morgan Freeman Dolphin Tail?
And Dolphin Tail 2.
Did he grow up the dolphin? I'm playing. I'm sorry.
I believe no dolphins were molested. Yeah.
All right. Other than that, you can pick up the film. Right now, it's currently in a Walmart. It's called Followers.
Yep. And you can get it on iTunes, Amazon, PlayStation, Vudu, just about anywhere digitally. And if you want the hard copy, you can go to Walmart.
Don't stream it.
All right, Chris, in the show on a positive note.
Yeah, man. So check it out, guys.
It's all you.
I was just talking about some stories that are pretty sad, things you see, right? And this song I'm going to play is called Just Live. At the end of the day, man, you can't control the actions of others, but you can control how you feel and how they your reaction to what they do. And so at the end of the day, man, life is really short, and so you just do your best to just live your life out the best way you can. Be sweet to people, love your family. I'm not trying to sound hallmarky, but with the pain, you can let them bother you. You can just go, it has nothing to do with me. People can project their issues onto you, and they can try to get you to believe their little pill they're trying to sell you, but you don't have to. That's the stuff that they're working through, so just don't believe people. The positives, don't listen to them, and the negatives, don't listen to them. You have a choice to do that. So here's Just Live, man. In my world, the star was there sitting at 3 o'clock, 2 inches from the moon. And the bottom of the moon was the only thing that was lit in. Only thing to light this world. And it's true, we make a difference, this I know. Yet so insignificant, so many mysteries untold. Time is of the essence, like catching the first winter snow. We gotta wake up everybody, because it's time for you to know that the world is simply amazing. World is simply alive. We're all simply living it. Eventually we'll die. So just live and dance to the music and live. Forget those inhibitions. Just live. Dance to the music and live. That clock is ticking, you better live. Yeah, like don't worry about things happening, man, Yeah, your intention, just live your life. In my world, my life is what I make it. It's a roller coaster, I know. Another fork in the road. I take the path less taken. It's the only one I know. 'Cause believing is achieving, this I know. When you hear that voice inside of you, the mystery unfolds. Time gives us beauty, when those flowers grow. But the grass isn't always greener. You've got to wait for it to grow. 'Cause the world is simply amazing. World is simply alive. And we're all simply living and eventually we'll die. So just live and dance to the music and live. Forget those inhibitions, just live. Dance to the music, live. 'Cause it's true, we make a difference, this I know. Yet so insignificant, so many mysteries untold. Time gives its beauty, you know, when your babies grow. But the grass isn't always greener, you've got to wait for it to grow. Just live and dance to the music, live. Forget those inhibitions, just live and dance to the music, live. That clock is ticking, you better live. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-ba-da. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-ba-da. I know. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-ba-da. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-ba-da. I know. Thank you guys. Yeah. Just live.
Mr. McCarty. All right, you gigging tonight?
I am going to be at the Hard Rock, the Council Oak at 6 p.m. So if it's a hump day, come out on a Wednesday and come see your boy, man. It's going to be nice.
If you guys are downtown St. Pete tonight, I'll be doing karaoke from 8 until midnight, Park and Rec, downtown St. Pete, 8 to midnight every Wednesday night. Let's see. Other than that, I felt like there was one other thing. Oh, I remember what I wanted to share with you before I left, Chris. I got an email this morning. I got an email from the state of Florida.
Oh, someone's bending head. They said, "Come on and get your weed on." Yep.
So this is as good as my medical card.
Absolutely, until it comes in.
So do I have to call and make an appointment now with one of these places like True Leave, or do you just walk in?
You just walk in and you go, "Hi, I'd like to get," and they ask you, just show them your email. Take a seat. You're gonna go back and feel like a kid in a candy store. Then you're gonna pick up your stuff. You're gonna walk out and be like, "Wow, no police officer can bother me, and I'm gonna be okay." And I'm telling you, it takes a little stress off.
I'm excited. I think just having it on my person, just having it in my pocket,
dude. I'm telling you,
will make a difference.
It makes you calm. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I no longer partake because you got to give up something to get something, and so that was my little arrangement with my universe and my God, and I was coping from the loss of my brother, and Ernest, love him, God rest his soul, and so you had
some pain management,
and my knee is still. Listen, man, I got it because of my knee, ladies and gentlemen. I had a major surgery, and so I realized that it actually really was helping because I'm a limping fool right now, but I'm clean and clear and all that stuff, so I'm just gonna
feeling
ride
good
it out.
about it.
Feeling good. So good job, man. I'm glad you did that. I'm happy.
Thank
for
you. I'm
man.
excited. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day. Be safe. Thank you so much for the likes and shares. Likes and shares, those are humongous. Not only that, but the interaction. Let's see. Carson says, "Come to Seattle. Much easier for recreational flower." Hey. I believe it or not, I'm doing this for medical reasons, not for recreational reasons. So we'll see.
Absolutely is.
We'll see how this helps with my general anxiety disorder.
Amen.
Or whatever the hell's ailing me.
Good for you, brother.
Be kind to yourselves. Most importantly, be the change. Be the change in the world you want to see. As you're getting angry and frustrated, going, the government should do this, corporations should do that, religion should do this. You go, you know what? I'm going to shut the F up for a second and turn the mirror on myself and be the change in the world that you want to see. Have a great day.